Hey guys, this is Scuba Chris. I'm going to explain how I do my crimping. Now, crimping, this can be from the shoreline or trolling. Take your pick. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've been a commercial diver as well as a commercial fisherman. So I want to share with you what I feel crimping can do for your game. The majority of the people I know rather tie. Like me, I've been getting kind of lazy with the smaller lines. I've been tying, but crimping is a lot better. I really feel that when you crimp your leaders, is less chance of it breaking at the crimps rather than tying knots. It's always been that way. A lot of the commercial guys feel the same way. So let me just show you some of the simple things you will need. You have your assortment of line. I like to use mono for my leaders. Alrighty. So you also have to have some cutters, pliers, a lighter, which I'll show you a little later. This is going to be a little trick I'm going to show you that I don't think anybody's done on YouTube yet. And I always have an assortment of crimps or sleeves. Now you notice these are double, meaning double barrel. Double barrel is a lot better than the singles because it holds a lot better. Double meaning that when you look at it like so, it looks like a double barrel shotgun you're looking down, right? So, and another thing I would like to say is when you have to have a good pair of crimping pliers, and the reason being is that both sides have to come in evenly. If you get the real cheapy ones and they wobble back and forth, it will not put sufficient pressure on both sides of the crimps, and it will be uneven, and you're going to lose fish that way. And also, you notice that this looks brand new, even though I've had it for about a year. What you need to do is once in a while hit it up with our good friend WD-40. You hit it up with the WD-40, it prevents the corrosion and the rust. And I would say that, you know, keeping up with your tools is very important. Okay, the crimping sleeves nowadays are mostly made out of aluminum, brass, and copper. If you're going to do wire or cable, most people prefer to use steel. Like, you know, you use the wire cable leaders if you're trolling for Ono, for example. So I prefer the lighter leaders, as you can see here. And for me, lighter means 60-pound minimum to 250 pounds. If you're going for GTs, I use 300 pounds, sometimes 250. I do the same thing with marlin and ahi. I've caught marlin up to 800 pounds, and I've caught ahi up to, which is yellowfin tuna, up to, I think it was 220 pounds, all using 300-pound leaders. So it works pretty good. Like I mentioned before, I always use the double barrels. Like it says, looking down, a double barrel shotgun. I would rather use this instead of the single barrel because it holds a lot better. I also don't recommend using what is called mini sleeves, which are shorter lanes. These are 14 millimeters. Some of the mini sleeves are half that, or maybe 8 millimeters. Don't do that. If you're forced to use mini sleeves, it's better just to tie a knot because it's really going to work against you. All right. Okay, to give you an example, doing a crimp leader, we're going to first try with the 100-pound test here. Now, if you're not sure on the diameter of the line, the increments are on the end of the crimping tool here. It tells you the sizes that each crimping slot is good for, as you can see. You don't want to go smaller. You want to be within that range. All right, so like say for this one, we're going to try the 1 mil. Try to stick it in. Now look at it, it barely fits in there. I mean, I have to shove it in there hard, but it fits in there. That's the wrong thing to do. You need to go a little bit looser. You don't want to damage the line. When it's crimped, it's going to cut into the line more if it's really tight in there, like I just showed you. So now I'm going to go up to the 1.4. That's the next size up. So we try to 1.4. Look at that. That's a lot better. That's what we need to do. Okay. So when you go through it, what you want to do is take a hook. Okay, this is one of my favorite sizes, BKN circle hook. This is size 28. Put it to the eye. Put it back to the other side. See, double barrel. The line goes through each barrel. Cinch it up like so. Now, you have to remember the size we're using is 1.4. So when you look at the second toward the last rating, it says 1.0 to 2.0. So we're going to use the second to the last here. Okay, so now what you want to do here is you don't want to go to the end. And I'm going to show you why. If you go to the end like that and you crimp it down, look what's going to happen. The end is going to squeeze on the line. So anytime pressure is on each side, that crimp is going to cut into the line. You don't want to do that. What you want to do, and this is the correct way of doing it, is line up the crimp and leave like maybe, I know, no, you got to go by eyesight, but I would say about maybe 1/16 of an inch. So crimp it, and look at that. I left 1/16 of an inch of the end flared. I came in on that and crimped, right? I left the end roughly 1/16 of an inch flared out. It's like at a 45-degree angle. And now what's going to happen is anytime this is twisting and turning, look at that play. You are not going to have the line cut into the edge of that and it will weaken the line. This is the correct way of crimping. I can't stress how important this is. Back in the day, nobody told you that. You just have to be smart and figure it out on your own. All right, now let me show you something that is very important. When you're trolling, or say if you're going shoreline fishing for sharks, or anything that has a lot of teeth, very large animal, what you want to do again is you put your line to your double barrel. Okay, this is what most people do. They just loop it like so. Okay, like that. And they'll draw it in. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you go for bigger fish, what you may want to do is right in here, use what is called a chafing tube. So if you don't know what a chafing tube is, go to your nearest pet store. Get Tygon tubing. That's the clear tube that you see that use air stones with to keep the fish alive. So what you do is you put Tygon tubing, cut a small piece, put this piece of Tygon tubing through this, and then put it back with your hook. And I tell you, I've caught so many big fish or toothy fish like sharks and wahoo that can't cut to that. It's very hard to cut it when you got the Tygon tubing here. Another thing you may want to do is when I like to go a little lighter. Sometimes I'll use 80 pounds or 100 pounds like this. Instead of looping it over, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a different type of a knot on this. So instead of looping it like that, we're going to do what is called a Flemish Eye. Okay, Flemish Eye is mostly what trollers use, but I was taught to use this also as a good alternative for lighter line. So you have your line here, double it over, Put it back through the eye of the hook. You're gonna make one granny, two grannies. See that, two grannies? This is what is known as a Flemish eye. See that? And to top it off, a lot of trollers like me, when we go out on the boats, we do the Flemish eye and we put the tie gun tubing around that. I mean, that is overkill, but it works. Then you put it back through your double barrel swivel. Look at that. Now you can cinch it up, right? Look at that. You can cinch it up, make it a little smaller, but look what the Flemish eye does. It's a little bit harder for a fish with teeth to cut through that now. This is something that I think everybody should start practicing because it does work. You don't have to, but it does. And here's a little trick I wanted to show you with the lighter. For added measure, because I did go out as a commercial fisherman, and you know, when you lose a fish, you're losing a lot of money. So see the end here? Burn it, tap it down. When you tap it down, you create a little plug at the end. And what's going to happen? Boom. Look at that. The sleeve can't go beyond that. So that's kind of my insurance. And there's been a couple of times, especially when I picked up a couple 750-pound, 800-pound marlins, that the sleeve actually moved out and actually hit that. Because when you're fighting a fish that is towing your boat backwards and you cinch down on the lock and let him tire himself out, that fish is moving over 2,000 pounds to the water. So it did come and hit that. So I do recommend doing this because I do this on all my leaders. I burn the end, flatten it out, and that way it won't pass through. Thank you. Okay, YouTubers, I'm going to show you the strongest leader I've made. I don't know if other people know about this, but the people I used to go commercial fishing with, you know, back in the day when we're going for marlin and shark and tunas, we call this a Flemish double leader. Okay, so what you're going to do is put your line through the double barrel sleeve, put your hook to it. Now see from here, swing it around like this. We're going to make our Flemish eye. Put the line back through the eye of the hook, like so. Now we're going to make two grannies. Half grannies go 1, 2. See, like that. Cinch it down. All right, and what we're going to do is after you cinch it down, now just remember, I don't have any tie gun tubing here. If I did, I would put tie gun tubing around that line and it will be doubled, so the tie gun tubing will actually protect that line. But I don't have any right now, so just remember that for this to be even better, use what I just said, put the tie gun tubing on. Okay, so this is a basic leader with a Flemish eye on its own. Okay, now what we're going to do is take our crimper, crimp, crimp. Okay, now you're going to notice that the end caps here are flared because I didn't crimp up to the last 1/16 of an inch of the flare of the sleeves. So there's a 45-degree angle there. So this way, no matter how the fish runs or how much stress is put on it, that metal is not going to cut into the line. Okay, now here comes the tricky part. Well, it's not really tricky, but it's a new wrinkle. Okay, get another sleeve, put it through. Now watch carefully. Now you can just end it at here. You can have it double and just end it at that. So, you know, if the fish has a large mouth, like say a shark, comes up and grabs it, you can even put Tygon tubing over here and make it harder for him to cut through. I'm taking this a slight step further. Move the second sleeve down and start twisting. See? Twist, twist, twist. Okay, and while you're twisting, notice how I'm pinching this sleeve with my thumb and my index, and I'm going to pull it up slowly while I'm twisting. See? Pull it up slowly. Pull it up slowly. Pull it up slowly. Pull it up slowly. Like so. Okay. Now what we're going to do at this point here, okay, is we're going to crimp this properly. Okay. So look what I did. Again, notice the flares, right? You got to have those flares there. So what happened is now instead of this line being side by side, now it's twisted. And we're going to finish this with the trick I showed you on using the lighter. Heat up the line. You pat it. The reason I pat it down is because, look, we just made a little bulb. See that? Just made a little bulb there. This is, to me, the most ultimate crimping leader I have ever made. I have never lost a fish doing this. And this product here is going to be enhanced once you put some cheap tubing in here. You don't have to, but it does help. Or you can add some here, but you know what? Just like that, this is awesome. I can honestly tell you that because I've been doing this for years. When you start bringing in 600, 700, 800 pound marlins by yourself, and you're out there in your boat and you lock down your drag and you're letting the fish tow you backwards for an hour and a half before he tires, so you start hand lining him up for the time, you thank God that you made your leader this way. Alrighty? Thank you.